All right, welcome to your weekly tungsten market update. And wow, if you're in the tungsten business here in India, you have been on an absolute roller coaster. After an incredible, historic price run, the market just slammed on the brakes this week. So let's break down exactly what happened and, more importantly, what it all means for you.
Just look at this number, 131.6%. That is the unbelievable spike in tungsten ore prices just since the start of 2026. I mean, think about that. In just a couple of months, prices have more than doubled. It's been wild.
So, what's been behind this? Since late last year, the market has been on fire, a truly historic surge. To really get a feel for it, let's look at the timeline to see just how fast this all played out.
I mean, the speed of this rally was just incredible. It started kind of building up in December, then it really took off through January and February, and it all peaked at a record high on March 10th. But then, just 3 days later, it all came to a screeching halt. After 2.5 months of climbing, the market just froze.
And listen, this wasn't just about the raw material, the ore. No way. This fire spread right through the entire supply chain. You see, wolframite ore, up over 131%. APT, that key chemical that's used to make all the tungsten products, that jumped 126%, and even the finished tungsten powder was up 121%. Everybody, and I mean everybody, felt the heat from this surge.
But after that historic climb, this week the entire mood just shifted. The momentum completely vanished. It was replaced by this real sense of caution, a wait-and-see attitude. All of a sudden, everybody got very, very nervous.
And that brings us to the big question, right? The most important question for your business right now. After a rally like that, a record breaker, why the sudden, dramatic stop? What on earth changed this week?
Well, it turns out it wasn't just one single thing. Our analysis is pointing to 3 key events, 3 triggers this week that completely flipped the market's positive feeling on its head. Let's break them down one by one.
Okay, the first major warning sign, it came from China. You had 3 different mines try to auction off 200 tons of tungsten concentrate. The result? Almost nothing sold. Buyers took one look at those record-high prices and got spooked. They were worried that if they bought right at the peak, prices could suddenly crash, and they'd be left holding a huge loss. So what did? They just stayed away.
Now, the second trigger came from a place we all know well, the scrap market. With prices flying so high, scrap holders saw a golden opportunity to cash in. So they started selling and selling aggressively to lock in those massive profits. It's a classic case of profit-taking. But when everyone tries to sell at once, it pushes prices down. And the scrap market is often a leading indicator, so this was a major red flag.
And the third trigger, that came from the stock market. On March 13th, the stocks of major tungsten companies just plunged. Investors rushed to sell off their shares again to secure their profits. And that fear, that panic on the financial market, it quickly spilled over into the physical tungsten market, scaring traders and making everyone just hit the pause button.
Okay, so those are the big global reasons. But what does all of this actually mean for your business right here in India? Let's translate this into a clear, simple strategy for the week ahead.
So here's the bottom line. If you sell tungsten carbide scrap, you need to know that profit-taking has officially begun. Prices are dipping a bit from that absolute peak, so now could be the perfect time to think about selling and locking in these fantastic prices. Now, if you're a buyer or a manufacturer, the message is caution. There is huge resistance to these high prices. My advice? Buy only what you absolutely need for right now and maybe wait and see where the market settles. Okay, let's look ahead. What should we be expecting in the coming weeks, and what about the rest of the year? Here's our take on the short and long-term view.
In the short term, you should probably expect prices to cool off. The market just needs to catch its breath after that massive run-up, so we'll likely see prices kind of level out for a bit. But, and this is a big but, long-term, the basic situation is still rock solid. Global supply is tight, and demand from huge industries like aerospace, military, and solar, well, that isn't going anywhere. That's what's going to keep prices strong down the road.
And hey, you don't have to just take my word for it. Look at this analysis from SMM. It puts it perfectly. The short-term sentiment shift does not mean a trend reversal. The supply-demand structure remains tight. What does that mean in simple terms? It means this little dip we're seeing is likely just a pause, not the end of the strong market.
So, what are your next steps? Well, first, if you have scrap, this is a really good time to consider selling at these high prices. Second, for weekly price updates sent right to your phone, join our free WhatsApp group. And third, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss these critical updates.
And this is the most important part. If you have tungsten carbide scrap to sell anywhere in India, visit our website to check today's live buying price. The link is right there for you in the description. You can get in touch with us directly from there.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. We have a market that is cooling off in the immediate short term, but a long-term future that still looks very, very strong because supply is just so tight. So the big question for your business is, what's your next move? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.